The U.S. and the U.K. pledged Friday to take the fight directly to the cyber terrorists. President Obama and British Prime Minister Cameron held a joint news conference to announce a sweeping plan to enforce cybersecurity, including holding cyber war games designed to test weakness in financial markets. Adam Levin is the chairman and founder of Identity Theft 9/11 and is here to walk us through the war plan, or 911.
911.
911, my apologies. All right, so why don't we start with what was announced today? What is sort of the cyber war games that's going to happen?
Well, this is where they're testing our systems. They're determining how vulnerable systems may be, especially electric grid, the financial grid. These are the kind of things where we are extremely vulnerable. You know, one thing that we all have to come to accept is that the cyber war has replaced the Cold War. So the mantra really needs to be, Mr. Obama, Mr. Boehner, Mr. McConnell, put up our cyber defense.
You know, it's
wall.
funny because at the top of the show, you know, we showed a brief clip of War Games, which is the 1980-something movie with Matthew Broderick.
Love the movie.
It was a terrific movie. It was about a computer run amok regarding nuclear weapons. No one back then was probably thinking of actual cyber terrorism and cyber warfare. How do you think we're going to fare in these war games?
Oh, I think we're going to be okay. I think there's a lot of work to be done. I mean, if you look at the history of what we've gone through in the past few years, the White House has been hacked, the State Department's been hacked, the Postal Service has been hacked.
The president, when he announced that he was coming up with a cybersecurity plan on Wednesday, was a day that the government got hacked.
Precisely. And it was as if it was a PR move by ISIS to basically embarrass the president.
Okay, so with cyber, you know, who are the enemies in this cyber warfare? Is it actual sovereign states, North Korea, or is it the terrorists, or is it the kid in a basement somewhere in the middle of the country?
You have several different categories of hackers. You have state-sponsored hackers. You have hackers that are ideological hackers. You have the hackers who do it because I can, and you have the hackers that do it for the money. And oftentimes, it's a combination of all or some of the above. It just depends upon the scenario. But we've had issues with Russian hackers, Chinese hackers, potentially to the North Korean hackers or people who were working for North Korea, Iranian hackers.
Most of this so far, I imagine most Americans probably think, okay, this is an inconvenience, these hacking jobs, but not something very dangerous. Can you explain where the danger is?
Well, the danger is you could get a cybergeddon. Now, you could get a cybergeddon where they literally... Cybergeddon. They can shut down the electric grid, which could be a total disaster. They could, as was demonstrated, they could invade J.P. Morgan, which someone got in to 90 servers at J.P. Morgan. They didn't necessarily do anything, as far as anyone knows. The information was exposed, but nothing has happened so far. You had a series of incidents in the past year where organizations were bringing down financial services websites one by one as a look what we can do.
Okay, so you know, the concern is balancing the idea of tight cybersecurity, which will, I guess, involve high levels of surveillance versus civil liberties. And obviously the debate, for example, the Edward Snowden debate, is how much should our government be doing? Where do you come down on that?
Well, the situation here is that we have to have a collaborative effort between consumers, businesses, the media, and government. Has to happen. There has to be information exchange. Organizations that have suffered hacks have got to be able to exchange information as to where their deficiencies were. Experts have to weigh in. This is a marathon. This isn't a sprint. And this has to be a collaborative effort. And ultimately, it has to be a global collaborative effort because it's not, you know, everyone is obsessing about border security. And we can only hope that they begin to obsess as much about cybersecurity.
There's only so many people who can come across the border, but cybersecurity can affect everybody. Well, I hope you come back on as we sort of go through the cyber warfare games and you tell us where we stand. Okay, Adam Levin, founder of Identity Theft 911. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, sir.
Coming up, what are the priorities for the fastest growing continent in the world? You're watching Arise Exchange. Stay with us.